Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today we've got a requested video for you guys, 10 different fragrances that leave an intoxicating scent trail. Now the requested video was something along the lines of something that has a really sexy smelling sillage, or a fragrance that when you walk by somebody, they pick up a whiff, they're gonna be like, what was that? That's the idea behind these fragrances. So let's jump into this, start checking them out. Let me know in the comments, guys, a fragrance that you think has an intoxicating scent trail, whether it's one you've picked up off somebody else or that somebody else has complimented when they've smelled it coming off you. I'm gonna start this off with a fragrance that does not get mentioned that much nowadays, Xerius Rouge, which has a name that actually a lot of people, I think, when they see it, they're like, oh, how to say that? This one's got some interesting notes in it. It's got cactus, has pimento. Those are notes that you don't see all that often, but trust me, this all works together, and I guess the pimento does make sense since the fragrance is in a red bottle and Rouge is in the name. There's also geranium orange and sandalwood in this one. Now, when you take a look at the bottle, I know the presentation maybe does not scream out to you that it would be a fragrance that would really grab attention, especially when you walk by somebody or they walk by you, but trust me, it is. It's a little bit sweet, it's spicy, it is maybe a little more mature than some of the other fragrances that I'm going to talk about here today, but it doesn't go for that much at discounters, and this one is kind of a hidden gem as far as being just a really nice attention-grabbing scent. Like I said though, it is not super youthful, so if you're a really young guy out there looking for something that's going to be the next, Eros or something as far as compliment pulling goes, this one probably would not work out for you as much. Okay, next fragrance, Dior Lhomme Intense from Christian Dior. I absolutely love this fragrance. I love the way it smells. I will wear this one just for myself and not care at all what other people think about it, but thankfully, other people seem to really like it too. Iris Ambrette, lavender, cedar, and pear, some of the notes in this fragrance. For a long time, people said that this was kind of a metrosexual scent in the sense that it does have that iris that comes across lipsticky or makeup-y. But it smells amazing. The quality here is top-notch, fantastic evening fragrance, fantastic formal fragrance, great longevity, great projection. This one is just a top-notch scent. You will find countless people talking about this fragrance, both in reviews and in lists and just all over the internet, and for good reason. This one's fantastic. Up next, a fragrance from the house of Parfums de Marly. You might think that it is Leighton that I'm gonna bring up, which is a big attention-grabbing fragrance, and that one would work too. But the fragrance I'm going to mention here is Herod. This one has incense and osmanthus, as well as vanilla, tobacco, and cinnamon. For a while, this got compared to Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford. So people would say that Herod is Parfums de Marly's version of Tobacco Vanille, and then Godolphin is Parfums de Marly's version of Tuscan Leather, for example. Now, Godolphin is more similar to Tuscan Leather, I would say, than Herod is to Tobacco Vanille. This is a fragrance that has tobacco and it has vanilla. So obviously it has that in common with Tobacco Vanille, but if you spray these on side by side, you'll see they're not the same. This one has more musk, it has incense, it's got that osmanthus. Tobacco Vanille is a little bit sweeter to me, so there are definite differences between the two. But Herod, fantastic smelling. Great fall and wintertime fragrance, great evening fragrance. As far as tobacco scents go, this one is very wearable, big attention-grabbing fragrance. All right, next up, 1 Million Purvey. Go from one tobacco fragrance to another. This one is the fall and winter tobacco, cinnamon, sweet, spicy take on 1 Million. There's also tonka, myrrh, and mandarin orange in here, so you get a little citrus off the top, but this one's really all about that tobacco with the resins, with the sweetness and the spice. For me, just off the top of my head, 1 Million Purvey is my favorite from the line. That includes the original and all flankers. I think it's the best one, the most appealing one to me. And I know that the original 1 Million overall is going to sell more than 1 Million Purvey always, right? Just a huge compliment pulling club fragrance, big performance from that one. But 1 Million Purvey to me is just the most appealing one, the most intoxicating one when I smell it. I've also had great reactions from 1 Million Purvey wearing that out in public and also with my wife on dates. Okay, next up, a big one from by Kilian, Black Phantom, one of the biggest releases from the house. And this one is really got a lot of gourmand notes going on. You've got dark chocolate, you've got coffee, You have rum in there as well, giving you some boozy sweetness. And then you have almond and caramel in there as well. So this one is a great evening fragrance, a great fall fragrance, great wintertime fragrance. So this one, like I said, is for you gourmand lovers out there. It's got a lot going on, a lot of richness here, a lot of depth, and it doesn't ever come across overwhelming. So that's a big positive. It's not gonna come across too cloying. Now, if you go really super heavy, it can come across cloying, so don't take that to mean you can spray it 12 times. That's a bad idea. But if you like fragrances that do have that kind of edible touch to it, check this one out, fantastic. And we'll go from there into another that's got sort of a gourmand touch to it, Ferragamo Womo. This one has a tiramisu note, so that's gonna give you a really sort of sweet coffee note to the fragrance, as well as some sweetness from tonka, and there's ambroxan in here as well. You also get a little cardamom, so a little touch of spice in there. Cardamom here coming across on the sweeter side of cardamom. So this one really is, if you haven't guessed already, a sweet type of scent. So if you like fragrances that do have a good amount of sweetness, you should check this one out. The price on it is really low, the performance is good, and I actually like the bottle. Some people don't, but I think it's pretty cool. Next up, YSL Lhomme Intense. And this one I believe now goes by the name Lhomme Intense. I think they've changed the name on this one. One thing with this fragrance, it does not have a really powerful sillage for me. So your projection, your scent cloud, not going to be enormous with this one. Even though it's intense, it's actually not, as far as the performance goes, it's not terrible. It's just not really what I would call intense. It's got ambergris, citrus, orange blossom, and woods, some of the notes in the fragrance. And this one is one of the flankers in the Lhomme line that does get overlooked a little bit. It's alluring, it's rich, it's warm, it's sweet. It's a lot of things that a lot of people are looking for in a fragrance, but because it's a flanker in the Lhomme line that's not called La Nuit de Lhomme, it is overlooked, like I just mentioned. If you're looking for compliments, if you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna pull people in, really hold their attention, grab their attention as you walk by, this one does that really well. So even though the performance is not great, even though it's not really intense, and even though it's a flanker of the Lhomme line, which again, they are often forgotten, this one is really, really solid as far as just commanding people's attention when they catch a whiff of it. Next fragrance I want to talk about is one of my personal favorites, African leather from the house of Memo. And this is my favorite leather fragrance that they make. It's the first one that really got me into the house, and now I own lots of Memo scents. Even though this is a leather fragrance in name, leather is not really the focal point. I mean, it's there, but it's not the thing that you're gonna notice the most from the fragrance, most likely. More than likely, it's gonna be the cardamom and the saffron in here. Really sweet, alluring, inviting spiciness. That's what this one has to offer. There's also vetiver as it dries down, so you do get a little bit of that African feel, if you want to call it that, in the sense of that dry, grassy kind of vibe that vetiver can give off. Fragrance is really warm. As I said, a big attention-grabbing, compliment-pulling fragrance. Now, even though it's a niche scent, it does have sort of designer sensibilities to it, and that this one is made to be really wearable. It's made to be able to be pulled off during the day, during the night, spring, fall, winter. I mean, you could probably wear it in the summer if you wanted to. It's not one I would choose, but you probably could. It's got a lot of versatility to it. So it's not necessarily trying to be super artistic, it's trying to be super wearable, and it is. Next up, let's go with the Creed, but probably not one of the ones you're thinking about. Not Aventus, not Silver Mountain Water, not Millésime Imperial, not Virgin Island Water. Let's go with Oud Portugal. Lavender, sandalwood, cedar, bergamot, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one, more grown up, more mature. Very gentlemanly, very classy, very sophisticated. Super ultra versatile. You can wear this to the office, you can wear this formally, wear this on a date, wear it to a wedding, wear it wherever you want. It's the type of scent that's timeless. And this one is the type of fragrance that's gonna give off the vibe of somebody, frankly, with money. Somebody that, you know, really has it going on. That's what Oud Portugal is. This one is a gentleman's fragrance, and it does command attention as being a top-notch gentleman's fragrance. We're at the final fragrance. This is one that I've talked about many times on the channel, one that I've worn personally to the office countless times, gotten so many compliments from this fragrance, Pure Havane from Mugler. Honey, tobacco, vanilla, cocoa, patchouli, some of the notes in the fragrance. This one is a sweet pipe tobacco, sweet honeyed pipe tobacco. It is very easy to wear, very alluring, very sweet, and a big, big, big compliment pulling fragrance for me. Of the entire Amen line, this one is my favorite. I feel like it's the most solid one of the bunch. If they discontinued it, I'd probably buy 2 or 3 backup bottles. Would I realistically go through those in my lifetime? No, but I'd want them anyway. It's just a fantastic fragrance. It's one of the first tobacco fragrances I would tell somebody to get if they were just getting into fragrances and they wanted to sample some tobacco scents. This is one of the first ones I would tell them that they had to check out. So Pure Havane wraps this list up. Fantastic in fall, fantastic in winter. Just a great overall scent. All right, guys, it's gonna do it for me. Stay safe out there. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.